Hi everyone and welcome back to Interview Chronicles Season 4. Today we are at the 47th episode of this series and we have Gracika here with us who has been recently placed at Bank of America as a part of her campus placements at VIT. She is here to share her interview experience with us. But before we talk to her, let's look at the eligibility criteria. So all the students belonging to computer science and IT branches were eligible provided they had a 60% or a 6 CGPA in their 10th, 12th as well as their pursuing degree with no standing arrears. Now let's go ahead and talk to Gracika and understand her experience interviewing for this company. Hi Gracika, firstly welcome to my channel and congratulations on your placement. So
Thank you so much.
yeah, would you like to introduce yourself first?
Okay. Hi guys, I am Grisika Jain. I am from Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh, and I am currently in fourth year in VIT Chennai. And my course is Computer Science Engineering with specialization in Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning. And throughout my 4 years, I have always maintained a decent CGPA, mostly above 8.8, and sometimes I also cross 9. But right now, I am having a decent CGPA of 8.89.
Okay. Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. You can now tell us about the placement process, like how many rounds were there and what they comprised of.
Okay, so Bank of America placement rounds were quite very smooth. So it was one of the first few companies who came to VIT Chennai. So it came around in mid of July, and we were asked to register on a Neopat portal. So it is
Okay.
a portal that VIT uses. So we uploaded our resumes on it, and around in August mid, I got selected for the first round.
Okay.
So out of like VIT Chennai strength, there were like around 500 people, 5 to 600 people who were giving the first round. So it was a higher view link, and it consisted of like 5 questions. So we were given a timeline of 48 hours where we have to attempt that interview. So it was of 90 minutes. So I started with that interview. So the first question was about like how are you eligible for this role academically? Like what
Okay.
are your academic skills and what is your branch and everything.
Hmm.
So there were like 9 to 10 job descriptions given for by the company. So before that, I also knew, like I read on Geeks for Geeks, that what is the higher view questions. So I knew the question. So I read all of the JDs and I made the summarized answer that whatever role I will be getting, I will be giving this answer. So I gave that answer. We were given a appropriate time to prepare for that particular question.
Okay.
Now the second question was a coding question. It was a lead code easy question.
Okay.
So I solved that. It was their personal platform where we had to solve it and submit it.
Hmm.
Now, the second question, mine was lead code hard. It was a difficult question, so when I asked my friends, they all got an easy one, but I don't know why did I get a tougher one.
Hmm.
But I took around 20 minutes to solve that question,
Hmm.
but I solved that question. Then a fourth question was related to that how did you solve the second hard question, and also explained other two approaches to solve it.
Hmm.
So it was tough for me because that first thought was very difficult for me while doing the question, but I tried and I also gave a good answer for that.
Hmm.
And my fifth question was, how are you fit for the role other than your academic and your skills?
Hmm.
So I told about my like about other skills, like I am patient, I learn new skills and
Hmm.
everything.
Hmm.
And my interview went for like 60 to 65 minutes.
Hmm.
So and then so like we waited for like 20 days, and on October 17, I remember at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night, I got a mail that I have my interview, the final two interviews for tomorrow. So I got little time to prepare for it, but it was placement, so everybody was
Hmm.
preparing for everything.
Hmm.
So I studied that whole day and whole night, and next morning at 12 o'clock I had my first interview.
Okay.
So it was a face-to-face interview, and the interview was pretty chill. He introduced himself, then he asked me to introduce myself, then I introduced myself. Then he asked me that I should open a WordPad or anything, and he gave me a question. It was lead code easy medium question, and he asked me to explain the pseudocode and what is my approach.
Hmm.
So I gave my approach that I will be solving like this, and then he asked me to code it, and I coded it. And after that, he asked me 3 to 4 questions about data analytics and how will I analyze a problem. So he gave me few numbers that this is like this you have to build a society, you have to build how many lists you will be building for a company,
Hmm.
and for a society. He gave me random numbers and asked me that how will I plan it. So I gave my answer, and then he kept on making changes in between that how would I
Hmm.
tackle that problem. Other than that, he also asked me few questions, and then he came to CS fundamentals. So he asked me about OOPS, DBMS, and everything. So the interview went for like 35 minutes, and it was a good interview. Like the interviewer was quite impressed, and he asked me that we may contact you later. So then after that, after 1.5 hours, I got a call from another HR. He called me that in 10 minutes he will be sending me another link. So he sent me the link for the another interview. Now that was quite tough because the person asked me to open a VS Code, and he asked me to code a good question. It was a lead code medium question. So I gave an not the best a solution. I gave a good answer, a good code. Then he asked me to optimize it. Now it took me like 5 minutes to understand. Then I gave another optimized approach, and then he looked pretty impressed. Then he asked me like 10 questions about DBMS and OOPS and OS, like everything. He was just mixing and asking me questions, and then he asked me one or two questions related to HR, and then he asked me to open this MS Paint, and he asked me a question like, I have given you a circle, you have to divide a circle into 9 parts with using only 4 line segments. And I was like, okay, that's tough. It took me 2 to 3 minutes to find out, but I gave my answer. Then the interview went for 45 minutes, and he was quite impressed. And we got the result next day that I was selected for the role.
Okay, okay, okay. That's great. Congrats again, and thank you for sharing your experience. So there was no specific HR round in the end. It was
Yeah, my rounds were technical, and little bit HR was there.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. And
Yeah.
do you have any suggestions for your juniors or for other people who are trying to get placed?
Okay, so for college like VIT, where here the number of people are quite huge, the batches are huge, so the CGPA should be decent. Like it should be above 8.5, so that it's easy for us, especially for the students who are in computer science. And yes, we have to start practicing for coding because every interview was different for people in Bank of America also. Like two of my friends were having like 20 minutes interview, mostly HR. Now I
Okay.
had both of them technical, and my higher view interviews was also very tough coding question. So you need to keep practicing, and you also have to revise DBMS, OOPS, and OS all the time because they can ask anytime because they expect that we should know the
Right,
concepts.
right, right.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for sharing your experience and for the suggestions. I'm sure it's going to help many people. And yeah, thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, yes. Thank you all for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe. And let me know which company you would like next.